Welcome to the I Told You podcast. This is the podcast where we are speaking facts in an unapologetic manner. I am J. Marcelo Vaquero Alvarez, and let me tell you, this is not the podcast for a snowflake. So if you're a snowflake, this is probably going to be hurting your feelings. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left side of the spectrum. And today's topic is how are Trump's choices making Russia great again? Are these choices making it easy for Russia? Well, yes, they are. So we'll talk about how. Okay, before you start getting all angry at me about this topic, this is not a Trump bashing topic. This is about understanding strategy, okay? So it happens to be Trump, but if we would be talking about Kamala or anybody else, I would be telling you exactly the same things if I would be observing the same indicators. Maybe he doesn't realize it. Maybe he does realize it. Well, we're going to be discussing a little bit more about how that happens and what is actually going on. Because whether you love this man or you not like this guy at all, nobody's perfect, okay? So that's the reality. Nobody's perfect, and the reality, though, is that like it or not, his choices are going to be crucial to the national security of our country. So hopefully he understands what he's doing, and maybe he needs a little bit of help from somebody else that is seeing what he's not seeing. So I repeat, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have blind spots. And I've been saying that in the previous episodes, and I'll continue saying that because that is the reality. That is why you're supposed to have a highly qualified team around you when you're in a position of prominence. It doesn't matter if you're in a local election or if you're in a Congress seat or anything else, you're going to have staff. And your staff needs to know what the hell they're doing because the person who's going to be the figurehead in front of the world is going to have blind spots. That is just normal, okay? Everybody has blind spots, and we need to understand that. And the fact is that speaking truth to power, that is actually what made America great already. Even though we have idiosyncrasies and there's definitely rooms for improvement on every area that you can imagine. I say rooms as in plural. Because, there is room for improvement on any issue that you can imagine. And that is normal. We're supposed to be better than we were before. If you become a victim of your own grandiosity, then you stagnate. Then you don't move forward. Then you don't continue to improve upon whatever you are having, okay? So let me give you a quick example. See, we used to be perfectly happy with rotary telephones. If you are too old for that, that is when a telephone was connected and plugged to the wall. And if you wanted to dial, they had this little disc and you have to literally start rotating those numbers and it would take forever just for you to be able to make a phone call. Did it work? Yes, it absolutely worked. You were able to call somebody else. But now just imagine if we would have stuck into that and we wouldn't have the cell phones and all the different type of technology that we enjoy because somebody wanted to keep you there. Okay? Keep that thought in mind. That is why you want somebody who speaks truth to power. Okay? And we have been really good in America for a while about trying to innovate, even though we had disagreements. But the problem is that more and more we're getting into party lines. And when we get into party lines, then we forget who we are. And we forget, whenever we forget this important part of America, of this innovation, of speaking truth to power, of actually making things better, then we get stuck. Think about that from a company standpoint, okay? Let's say that you have a little business and you are the boss and you don't want to listen to any of your staff about any of their ideas and you just keep your model whichever way that you want to keep it. And then somebody else from your staff say, hey, your competitors are actually doing something that is going to catch up to you and put us out of business. And you say, no, fuck you. I'm not going to listen to you. You're fired. And I'm just going to be surrounding myself with the yes men and yes women. Guess what's going to happen? The business is going to go under because now the competition actually found the vulnerabilities in your business model, improve upon them, and now you're left behind. So, you were the boss and you were the one person who was saying, yes, I am the only person who knows everything, but you didn't listen to your team. And now you're essentially the leader of nothing because you essentially self-destruct yourself. So if you succeed as an American, you have to remember, okay, if you voted for Trump, if you voted for Trump and he does well, great, okay, we all win if that is the case. The way that he's acting right now is not going into that direction. And you might want to think that you are still correct and that your choice was good. Well, guess what? If you go down, it's not only us, the libs. I'm not a lib, by the way. I'm an independent. But if you think, that it's just the non-MAGA, the ones that are going down, it's not. You're all in the same boat. You're going down with everybody else. It didn't matter how loyal you were. Good choices or bad choices, you still own them. Elections have consequences, and part of the consequence for you voting for somebody, it is also going to be owning that aftermath from that. Now, the playbook that we see being played upon America is nothing new in the world. That has been going on for a while. And Putin, who happens to be the premier person in Russia, he uses the same playbook that has been used essentially for years. There's a reason why he's been in power for more than 2 decades. There's a reason, okay? He understands these things. He's been using it to his advantage. Even though it's going to be looking legit in some ways because, he uses legal ways that he's able to turn them in his favor. That is how it happens, okay? He plays the game. He understood those rules to the game, and then he plays them into his own in his own group of people that he wants to place for his own advantage, okay? And this has been going on, in case you haven't learned about history, from times of Alexander the Great, okay? We're talking like way, like centuries back. The difference between the time when Alexander the Great was in power is that there was no social media, okay? So, yeah, somebody would be scribbling something, books would be written and it would be romanticized or whatever, it was the case. Now we have social media. Now that information can be moving exponentially all over the place. And some of the algorithms are actually going to be helping putting some misinformation into certain groups of people, the demographics. There's a whole different way how this actually works, okay? It would literally take me a few episodes just to break it down exactly. But what I'm going to try to summarize it here for you is that there is a technique behind that. It doesn't happen by choice. If you see all the shit that comes out in your newsfeed or in any of the social media platforms that you use, there is a reason why they're showing up over there. It's not just by choice. Okay, there is a strategy, and this strategy sometimes falls flat on some people, and they can actually see what the problem is. Most people, obviously in the USA, they just took the bait and fucking run with it. So that's what we have here. And I'm saying this because I'm sorry to tell you, and I am also an American citizen, but a lot of our fellow Americans, they're fucking naive as shit when it comes to geopolitics. So yeah, they're naive as shit when it comes to geopolitics. Why? Because they don't give a shit about that. Okay? They think that it's boring, it's uninteresting, it's, somebody else hopefully going to pay attention about this. You think that you are not one of those? Okay, point to me in a blank map right now where Moldova is. Point where is Belarus. Point where Taiwan is. Point where the Donbass area is. Yeah? Can you point to that? Yeah, right now, the Sea of Azov, point right now. Where's the Strait of Malacca? You know that? Okay, you didn't know? Well, prove my point, okay? Why don't you know about that? Because you don't understand, why it's important? Yeah, those are strategic points right now. They could be actually leading us to World War III. So it would be important for you to understand, but a lot of people, they don't understand. They don't even give a fuck about understanding, even after I just told them why is it important. So whenever you have this willful ignorance, it is very easy for an adversary to just start kind of like probing certain type of information that is going to sound more interesting to you. Could be anything. It could be a ball game. Could be a celebrity saying some bullshit. It could be like another movie. It could be a season premiere of whatever TV show that is totally not related to what's going on in the world. So those are the things that are actually happening. And unfortunately, a lot of Americans, they rather watch any of that instead of understanding what is actually affecting them directly as people. And I say, before you get mad, we all can be naive about something. Okay, that is the fact. And that's what I told you at the beginning of this podcast. That's what I told you at the beginning of this very episode. Nobody knows everything, and that includes Trump. Even though he's going to be the 47th president of the United States, he does not know everything. Nobody does. That's not just a thing. But the cure for ignorance is knowledge, and sometimes that knowledge is going to be coming from somebody else who has been there. Somebody else who knows that. Yeah, that's why you assemble a team, not of loyalists, Not of people who are just going to be a rubber stamp. Not of fucking senators that are in a co-equal branch of government that if they say, hey, if Trump says jump 3 feet high, you scratch your head, you do exactly that, no questions asked. That is bad. You are being treasonous to your oath of office because nobody has all the answers. And that includes any of us. That's why we rely on other people. That's why we rely in having people that are qualified, who actually understand, who actually dedicate their lives to understand what is it that they're talking about. So they can put the safeguards. That's what is supposed to be happening. Now, the problem is that the knowledge exists, and it has also been snatched in the news by a propagandist channel. So, like, the propagandists, they just take this shit and just run with it. And even the mainstream media, they are not really asking the tough questions. I told you already why. Because if they lose eyeballs, they lose people to buy advertisement into the channels because somebody's going to be flipping to a different channel that is now telling them what they want to hear. It's really simple and it's really disgusting, but this is actually what's going on. And the same thing, happens with a lot of podcasts and memes and congregations and any place, that you have now people. Because now people are so enamored with their own way of seeing the world that if somebody comes and tells them something that is not even a little bit it's not even if it is unkind, but if it disagrees even a little bit with their worldview, they just shut down. They just cannot handle it. They just want to go back to that. And what they don't realize that a lot of these people who are just listening what they want to hear but not what they need to hear, they are really taken for a ride. They're just becoming useful fools. And useful fools are exactly what an authoritarian propagandist wants. Because if you have useful fools, then they're not going to be wanting to listen to what is the reality. They're going to be putting opinions on the same level as facts. And when you put them at the same level, then you start forgetting what is the reality. You start losing that perspective. And then you're going to be more likely to double down in something that is wrong. And that is incredibly dangerous. And it has been happening for decades. And let me tell you again, that's why I'll tell you. The American exceptionalism sadly has been hijacked, okay? So, and it's very easy to do. You just go to any type of arena in any place, okay? It doesn't matter if you're on the left or if you're on the right and say something that sounds quasi-patriotic. It doesn't matter that if it is wrong and somebody starts chanting, USA, 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 there's going to be a whole bunch of people who are just going to be saying, USA, USA, even if it's not actually something that is correct, which it happens. It actually hijacks that part of your brain that makes you feel like you're part of a bigger community. Yeah, if they believe it. All these people in the stadium, they believe it. All these people in these arenas are convinced that, yeah, that is correct. Yeah, I should be doing the same thing. Kind of like when you go to a stadium and somebody starts, doing the wave, and everybody, takes part, even if you've never done it before, and it looks kind of cool, blah, blah, blah. Same thing. But it is hijacking a different part of your mind. And it makes it really hard for people to feel that, okay, were they saying something that makes sense? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. Because they're not really trying to tell you something. They're trying to make you feel something. Not telling you something, make you feel something. You understand the difference? A person's probably going to forget the words, but he's going to remember what they felt. What they actually was that moment of joy or sadness or anger or whatever it is. That is what is going to resonate. And even if you forget the words, you're going to probably remember that. I'll give you an example. Maybe you're mad about something that you fought with somebody fucking years ago. You don't even remember what the argument is about, but you remember that you're mad at that person because, you felt bad. For whatever reason, you got bad hurt. And that is actually how populism is moved into certain directions. Okay, so populism is very powerful because it takes on into that emotional investment that people have. And it goes towards the token figure. Essentially, this token figure becomes a reflection of all their dreams and desires and the burns and whatever it is that either they're happy or they're unhappy. It goes towards that person. That person becomes a symbol of themselves. So if that person starts showing any flaws, then it is really hard for the person who is enamored with that token because they're looking at themselves and they cannot accept that they could themselves be wrong for following this demagogue or this person who is actually not everything that they thought it was. And That is why you're going to be seeing adversarial forces that during the propaganda we talked in a previous episode in the first season about information operations campaign. So it is psychological operations. Okay, they prop certain people that they are controversial. They're going to have like something that is make them perhaps a little bit charming in some way, or something that is going to resonate with some people, and they prop them up. And they're going to give them all this clout, and then they're going to give all this money to actually give them views and to give them likes and to give them all shit. A lot of those likes, fake. They're not real. A lot of those followers, fake. They're not real. But the real people are going to start seeing those as though they're actually real. And then they're going to say, oh, this person actually has this popularity. So it goes back into this group mentality like I was telling you in the stadium, everybody playing the wave, because, okay, everybody else is doing, so maybe I should be doing the same thing. Same thing, okay? And you can actually see in certain, particularly some that are added in some type of tech world, you're going to see a figure that they just say something stupid. They just put a whatever post in the social media. And as soon as they hit send, there's like millions of views. It's not possible. Those are not real, okay? Big coincidence? No, it's not. It's actually working to create a group mentality, right? And that it's something that you're going to be seeing with certain media personalities. You're going to be seeing that with politicians. You're going to be seeing with particular TV channels, with particular narratives, particular memes, particular groups. They are going to be getting that boost because they're saying something that is convenient to the propagandist, okay? It is not rocket science. That's exactly how it works. And if they already have a clout, oh yeah, they're going to be making that clout even more prone to repeat something that is going to be those adversarial talking points, even if they don't realize it. Because, for example, you can drop yourself in an American flag and chant USA, 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 and still say a pro-adversarial talking point because you don't understand what you're actually saying, because it's how you feel. And that is why we need to have people who understand what's going on, to see behind that veneer and be able to speak truth to power. And it doesn't matter, which side you're actually leaning, if you're leaning towards the right or to the left or to the middle or whatever, okay? Leaning towards does not mean agreeing blindly, okay? You understand? Leaning towards a particular political view does not mean that you have to agree on everything that they're actually doing. But instead, you have to understand, if you are actually going to the right path, that is good for all Americans, okay? It doesn't matter what your political party is, if you're on the left or if you're on the right, it doesn't matter. Your goal is to make it better for America. That's what it's supposed to be. If it is only better for the party, then you don't care about America. You just care about the party. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And of course, the path that the propagandists are going to be pushing that information is going to be depending on the demographics. Because you could have the same politician or the same media group or the same advertisement push something to different demographics, so they fight among one another while they think that they are on the same team. It's a very complex way of how that actually works. And as I say, it would take me like several episodes to even start working into the inner workings for that, because it's complex. But it works. And because it is complex, it's the same reason why it's so easy to hide it in plain sight. Because people are not really going to be thinking. They're not going to be connecting all this multi-layer level of complexity, of dimension, of intrigue, because there's going to be a lot. It's kind of like a maze, okay? There's going to be a lot of different passageways. Some lead you to nowhere, but they're going to be looking very interesting until you actually hit the brick wall. So that's why certain analysts, they need to really understand that they need to understand that correlation is not causation, okay? That's what analysts, they need to understand. And narcissists are normally going to be those people that actually get pushed into this strata. And why is that? Because narcissists are easily manipulated. And the funny thing is, because the narcissists, they expect that they are actually the manipulators, that they are actually the ones in control. And that is the best way to actually manipulate a person, is if they think that they're in control. Because if they think that they're in control, then they kind of lower the guard, thinking that everybody else is stupid. And they're very prone to adulation. They're very prone to react if there's any criticism towards them. Okay? After all, they are full of their own ego. They just want to listen to their own voice. They don't want to really understand what anybody else is telling them when it actually comes to making a particular decision. So all the narcissists, okay, you have to realize this. Every narcissist, even though they're going to be acting as though they are all that, and they love themselves too much, they're all insecure. And they're all very thin-skinned. They are really, really, really easily offended. That's why you're going to be seeing, that they retaliate incredibly dramatically whenever anybody criticizes them. Normally, if they don't have that much power first, they're going to have this fox bravado. They're going to be bullying their way out to overcompensate. It's kind of like small dick syndrome type thing. They just want to say, don't look at my junk, but I'm really good in bed. And are they? Well, who knows, But the problem is that they try to compensate something as a power over somebody else to validate themselves. Does that make sense? So if you're actually trying, to put somebody else down, trying to feel them inferior to you by you trying to make yourself feel superior by means of putting them down, then that means that you feel inferior to them. That is the problem, okay? That is what happened in a narcissistic mind. They don't really understand that too much, and that's why they are always going to try to put somebody else's down. Not only trying to put them down, but they're also trying to humiliate them, to feel better about themselves. But the problem is that they never get to chase that high. They never actually are able to be happy about that because they haven't actually earned in their own insane metric. They haven't actually been able to earn the point where they should supposed to be. That's why they're also going to be incredibly jealous and petty to other people who are actually self-assured. And self-assured doesn't mean that you have to have a lot of money or that you have to have a lot of quote-unquote success, whatever, like you measure that. It means that you actually like and accept yourself for the person you are. Truly accept yourself. So think about that. Because in propaganda, they're also going to be finding whatever is that vulnerability you have and trying to make you like those narcissists. Okay? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, okay? And the problem is that this resonates with some people who have, as I say, some other level of insecurity. And that is, of course, exploitable because especially those who think that they have nothing to worry about, that they wouldn't be exploitable themselves, yeah, they're the easiest one to hijack. Because they say, well, I don't have any vulnerabilities. All right, boss, you don't have any vulnerabilities. It's okay. You are in charge. You're in charge. Are you really in charge? No, they're not in charge. They're making you believe that was your own fucking idea when it was their idea. But you are going to be too fucking dense to realize it. And especially, people that have these bombastic, personalities, they're going to be easily dissuaded by adulation or very reactive to criticism. And I am repeating this thing for a reason, okay? Because that is the crux of that situation. Because now they're making even good people to be that bombastic, and that you're going to feel emboldened to go to somebody else's social media account, even if you're like a grandmother, that is normally keeps to herself, just go to church, but somebody says something bad about fucking Trump. Oh yeah, I'm going to be going in fucking social media and tell you how many ways you can go fuck yourself. And it happens. So this person now is actually being hijacked because of a virtue that it was used in a way that it was weaponized. So it's weaponized that virtue and turn it into a bias. There's a way to do that. It's a trap. I told you several times. Traps are designed to snare a person with ease. So you fall into a trap. Don't necessarily feel bad about that, but do something about it. Everybody makes mistakes, okay? That doesn't make you stupid. That makes you human. Now, clinging to a mistake that you know that you made, that makes you stupid, okay? And the problem is that whenever the person actually clings to those stupid mistakes, that they should be able to fix it and really realize if you were taken for a ride or not, especially if there's a person that you trusted, that is going to normalize those toxic traits. Nice people are going to start becoming more cynical. They're going to become more toxic. They're going to kind of like think, okay, I'm just messing around. I'm not really doing this thing. I'm just doing it for kicks. No. What you're doing is you're normalizing bad behaviors. And this is incredibly dangerous because it continues. Once it actually gets normalized, then you stop tracking the other warning signs. That is the important part that you have to really understand. And of course, there are going to be copycats. There's going to be a whole bunch of other opportunistic assholes that they're going to be sprouting all over the place. That is particularly true for social media. Okay, a lot of people in social media, they're just going to be showing up, and say, "Oh, that motherfucker, that's talking about a wedge issue that is like totally off the wall, but they're actually getting a lot of clout. Sign me in. I'm going to be doing the same shit," and that's what you're going to be seeing. Look at any of the platforms. Whoever has like the worst wedge issues, it doesn't matter, what the situation is. The most controversial, the most views, the most followers, and a whole bunch of people, they're actually going to defend the indefensible because they don't really understand the reality. Because why? I told you in a previous episode, you can fit a lie in a bumper sticker. Okay? It's going to fit very well. Okay, somebody says something stupid like the world is flat. Okay, yeah, it's not true. It's demonstrably untrue. But for you to say no, the world is round because X, Y, and Z, and you can show that empirical evidence, that is not going to fit in a bumper sticker. It's going to be taken more understanding. And even if you go and say no, the world is round, trying to do that, what is this other cynical motherfuckers going to thinking in their own mind? Oh, prove it. Yeah, there's no proof of that. And even for you to actually try to go to that back and forth, they're just fucking not going to understand it. And that's what they say. A lie is going to be already circling the planet a few times before the truth gets a chance to put their pants on, okay? That is the reality, okay? That's what you're really fighting for. And the only way that you can actually fix that is by becoming smarter yourself. But that is going to be taking some effort. You actually need to be doing something that is going to be a little bit more taxing, in the sense that you actually have to pay attention to what you're doing. And that, of course, is something most people don't want to do. And, of course, instead, what people are going to be doing is take the path of least resistance and then become acolyte to whoever is the most bombastic personality that is kind of like in the same echo chamber. So if somebody says, okay, the world is flat, and that is easy for you to think, instead of actually understanding the reality, you're probably going to be gravitating to the flat earth society or whoever, is actually believing this shit because they are using this quote unquote pseudoscience to try to convince themselves of something that is not real, while the rest of the world is actually trying to show you what is the true way to measure why is it that you're wrong, but you are not just going to see it because you don't care about seeing it. Okay? In other words, you believe because you want to believe it because you're lazy. Because learning the real things are hard. And the problem is that a lot of people are taught to become this lazy. They just don't realize it yet. Okay? That's how the psyops works. That's how this mindfuck goes. And one of those things that you're going to be seeing is, for example, the toxic masculinity. And this insecurity that comes hand in hand. And that is something that is interesting, because some of these guys are actually really wealthy people. So they actually, quote unquote, would be considered successful, like CEOs, companies, and shit like that. There was this program, I don't know if it still, happened, but there was like these guys, they actually had to pay $18,000 fucking dollars, to go like a few days into some like fucking parking lot to have some other quote unquote alpha males screaming at them and fucking dunking them in cold water, tubs, and fucking have them do all kinds of like calisthenics and exercises while they're being yelled at. How fucking beta do you have to be to pay somebody to fucking yell at you after you already have accomplished like to be a owner of your own company or something else? That is fucking stupid to me. That you actually are paying to do that. It's like probably you'd be able to show these other guys something different, but the problem is that they take this really fragile masculinity and exploit it. And it works. It absolutely works, because they were making fucking millions of dollars with these fucking programs. And they're not alone, there's a whole bunch of different programs like all over the fucking world, particularly, they targeted, funny thing, to men that feel insecure about themselves. Go figure, right? And then those men, they think that they're part of some fucking group, but they actually fucking pay a whole bunch of money. Then to say that they are too masculine to take any shit from anybody, and then they're actually taking shit from some asshole that they're actually paying to give them shit. It's like you cannot even make this thing up. It's just fucking insane. But anyways, but of course, this is a symptom of a much larger problem because all these were actually manufactured by adversarial forces. They are often 17 steps ahead of anybody else that is actually trying to track it. And that's why several people that are actually trying to pay attention, they're just, at best, like if they're 17 steps ahead, they're like 15 steps ahead, or they're usually fucking 5 steps behind, So that is actually how it works, okay? This is a scam. This is scamming a massive fucking level, but it is actually brought to the USA. How? Through these information operation campaigns that I was telling you in a previous episode. Okay? So that is the situation. They're making you dumber. They're making you stupid by making you feel that you are not the person that you're meant to be yet, or that you haven't actually become that person, and that the only way that you can go there is if you listen to these people after you pay them fucking more enormous amounts of money, okay? And that they're going to treat you like ass until you actually pay enough for them to quote unquote start respecting you or even fucking directing any attention to you, which is really interestingly sad, to say that, to say the least. But that is actually how it happens, So it's not something that has been going on just recently. That's been going on for like several fucking years. We're actually talking about maybe a couple of decades at least that it has been exacerbated, particularly because there's the use of social media can start exacerbating some of those different problematic trends. One of those things is that a lot of people, they don't interact, they don't talk face to face. I tried to talk to one of your friends that haven't spoke for a while. Can you say, hey, let's pick up the phone and have a conversation? Oh no, yeah. Hopefully, you're going to be texting for a little while. Say, making like a fucking phone date, to talk in like 3 weeks from now. It's like for like an hour and a half, if that. But probably maybe just 10 minutes. Just realize how the fucking insanity of that model is now as far as social interaction. We're not really having conversations unless I'm not talking just to have a chat. I'm talking because, okay, let's what is the purpose of this conversation? Instead, I'm just going to be fucking looking in the screen, to see who can I actually talk. that is actually what's happening. Okay, so Russia, among other adversarial countries, they realized that they could defeat America by hijacking the American exceptionalism. Okay, so then just like get this thing, make them believe that they're still the best in the world, and use that devotion, the faith, the patriotism, anything that kind of like makes them hard, rapping on that, but put some Russian talking points and watch them repeat them, and that they do. A lot of the merch ideas and memes that they're coming, where the fuck do you think they come from? Do you think they come from America? No, that is really fucking naive. they are actually brought by somewhere else to make sure that you continue repeating that. And a lot of these people, yeah, they do that. And they fucking pay $45 fucking dollars in a fuck Biden hoodie. And who do you think that buys that shit? Only MAGA. Only MAGA would buy that shit. Anybody else, is not going to be spending $45 even in any other fucking hoodie, probably, like when something that is not even insulting somebody. But that's the problem, you just wrap yourself into an American flag or an American icon or something else, and then all of a sudden, yeah, that is cool, I'm doing my part. No, you're not. You're actually becoming a useful fool, and that's what's actually going on. And what they don't tell you is that they're actually dividing the very concept of America. They're supposed to be the United States of America. So the unity of the country is actually being destroyed by creating essentially your own community of your own looking folks. Okay, so if you're in this demographic or you're just in this point of view, but not all Americans. Okay, now fuck it. If they didn't vote for you, fuck them. So interesting. So when you become a president, you're supposed to become a president for all Americans. No, only my own people. But this is the funny thing. They don't actually even care, about you the moment that they actually get the vote. A lot of times, these in the MAGA world, and we saw that before. But a lot of people are still not going to be wanting to own up to that, even though the first presidency from Trump was not a good one. Okay, you might want to believe that it was. Okay, I'll keep talking about this in previous and future episodes. It wasn't. It was not good. It was dressed as though it was good, but it was actually a fucking disaster. It was a fucking like dumpster fire. But if you were MAGA, yeah, fuck you. Don't tell me that it was not good. It was great. It was the best commander in chief. No, it wasn't. I was in the Navy at the time. No, it wasn't. Every fucking day, he had a fucking Twitter storm, and by the time that I would get to the office before 5:30 in the morning, he would have already said something that he was, oh shit, we have to be doing so fucking damage control for that. And it's already starting. Every fucking day since he's been elected is just another fucking shitstorm. Every motherfucking day. Now with the tariffs or whatever it is. And it's sickening. This shit is not normal. Okay? This is not normal. It's not how it's supposed to be working. Do you remember fucking any shitstorms from Twitter from Biden this entire time he's been in office? Me neither. Yeah, Biden was not fucking sending a 3 a.m. fucking tweets or truths or whatever the fuck, like insulting somebody else. That was not a thing. But the problem is that you're going to see also that this MAGA live is also not just against the non-MAGA. It's between each other. It becomes a dog eat dog contest, and at some point it just becomes this fucking crazy reality show. So you want examples? Yeah, sure. Let me give you an example. Okay, Bobert and MTJ. Yeah, these two girls fucking sometimes insult each other. Like in national television in the floor of Congress, both congressmen, both MAGA, fucking insult each other. For another example, sure, McCarthy and Gates. McCarthy was the Speaker of the House, and Gates, who just resigned from Congress, that was going to be Trump's pick for Attorney General, and he didn't want the ethics report to come out because allegedly he was assaulting a minor in trafficking this minor across state lines to have sex. Okay, so essentially statutory rape. So that's what the ethics report was, and Gates didn't want that report to even be pursued in any ways, or the investigation by the ethics group in the halls of Congress, and that's why he actually made sure that they kicked the Speaker of the House. That was a MAGA Republican, was McCarthy. So a MAGA kicking another MAGA because of these allegations. Interesting. And then they put another MAGA person in charge, So and they have let's put it this way: if you have an ethics report and you don't have anything to hide, then release the motherfucking report. It's that fucking simple. Just show what happened. And if you don't have anything to hide and you want to be the Attorney General and you didn't do anything wrong, if there is an allegation and you can prove that it was not true, then show that fucking proof. Instead of hiding the report and say like, oh yeah, there's nothing to see here. If they're telling you there's nothing to see, it's because they're fucking lying to you. Okay? Don't be fucking that naive. Okay? It's like somebody say, hey, I'm going to sell you this car. Okay? You're just going to give me $5,000 right now. Where's the car? Oh, yeah. Trust me, I have the car, but, you see, these are the keys to the car, and it's parked somewhere. Okay, where's the car? Can I see the car? No. You first pay me and then you go get the car. What is that? There's probably no fucking car, okay? Yeah, you're going to have keys, to a fucking empty parking lot. It's not fucking rocket science, guys, okay? But again, as I say, this is not normal behavior. What we're actually seeing the political discourse, not normal behavior as we're descending into madness, because that makes Russia then appear like they're the grown-ups in the room. Okay? All the adversary nations, they are going to be looking like they're the grown-ups in the room while we are actually fucking looking like fucking idiots. That is what happens. And what is the propaganda for Russia to say? Well, you see, the USA, they're not the world leader. They cannot even fucking agree among each other. And guess what? They're already doing that. They put that in their own fucking state television. Yeah, they're going to be propping some people, but when there's any problems, they're going to say, yeah, you see, that political model doesn't work. The USA is in shambles. Who listen to that? The rest of the fucking planet. A lot of the people that listen to that are people that a lot of Americans, like I told you, in the geopolitical thing, that they have no fucking idea they actually exist. But they are actually affecting the USA because we are in a global economy. We are in a global market because the USA is part of the fucking planet. So all these political shortcomings in the national discourse, they're actually being planted for the media and for the politicians to pick along the way. Okay, so it's a trap. Okay, so it's kind of like a fucking like a TV show. It's like say, hey, where are the scissors? Where are the fucking stool? Where's the table? The kids go there. Same shit. Okay, same fucking thing. They're putting those things in front of them so you can follow the fucking little crumbs trail. And as you follow this crumbs trail, you might fucking feel like you're super smart because you're figuring it out. Because it was not on top of the table, but you have to be fucking moving your eyes, like maybe like 5 degrees, to the left, to the right, that's what's happening. It's not normal behavior, what we're seeing. So who's actually going to be the grown-up in the room? Well, it has to be the American people. If they fucking want to wake up, because a lot of them, guess what? They still fucking have their head up their ass and they don't want to see it. And I'm not even just talking about the MAGA folks. I'm talking about a lot of other Americans that they just don't fucking give a shit about that, which they're going to figure out the moment that they're so fucked up into the middle of this quagmire that we're going to be in and say, oh shit, how we got here? Well, it's been fucking told and foretold for fucking years, but you just didn't fucking want to listen. And that's why Trump is actually having a choice, selecting a team that would be truly able to put America first, okay? But what he's actually doing is making choices that it would be a fucking like wish list for Russia. If you can actually get like any fucking person that it would make it so easy for Russia to push their own agenda, it would be exactly the fucking people that Trump is choosing. Does he understand this? Or is he doing that on purpose? That is something that it should be a wake-up call. And the media is not actually calling for that. Why don't you, the media, here, let me fucking put it in this fucking camera. Why are you, the media, tell Trump this? Hey, are you working for Russia? Are you under duress, Mr. President? Does Russia have shit on you? And watch the reaction. He's going to say, oh, there's a nasty question. Oh, there's a blah, 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 blah. He's not going to say, yeah, answer the motherfucking question. Okay? And look at the fucking body language, because when he lies, he does this fucking thing and he starts doing this. Or he does like fucking, like weird fucking duck mouth, like, yeah. Those are telltale signs that something is happening. So like, okay, Mr. President, fucking blink twice if you're fucking under duress, okay? We need to know that shit. That's something you need to know. And that's why you're actually supposed to have a team of elected leaders that actually understand what the fuck they're doing. And if they're under the duress, they need to fucking step the fuck out of their whatever hole and speak up and say, hey, I'm in trouble. I need fucking help. Even if you don't say it in front of the entire fucking world, tell to the fucking people that they actually have law enforcement abilities at least before they're gone. Like the FBI right now, Trump wants some dude that is, okay, does he even want to be part of this same administration because of the things that he's actually saying? So why are we actually not talking more about this? Okay, for this and so many other reasons, Trump is so convenient to Russia. And you have to understand, okay, I'm not just attacking here the person that you think that I'm attacking, because I'm not attacking Trump. I'm actually asking, can you please make sure that you are not making choices that are only convenient for Russia and convenient to other adversarial nations, and make choices that are actually good for the United States of America? Because like it or not, we fucking got this person in office, and we are stuck with him until something probably is going to be happening through Russia themselves, because mark my words, Putin is already making all these bail threats about, like his security or some shit. What is he actually trying to do? We're going to be talking a little bit more about that. And as I say, nothing of this is new. I've been writing my books, Authoritarianism and Propaganda, the Puppet Master Tools, and Woke and Proud. They're charlatans in convenience, and these are nonfiction historical analysis, so you can see how propaganda has been galvanizing throughout the ages. And of course, I'm not a Monday quarterback. I'm telling you what is actually happening in a way that I've been already explaining this thing for years. Go to my website, www.halflifecrisis.com. To the article section, you can see there's a timestamp. I've been talking about this shit, okay? Now, do I get as much traction as I wish? Now, I just got 1,000 readers, but for every 1,000 readers that I get, there's a whole bunch of fucking millions of people that are just listening to whatever other fucking thing that happens, okay? But hey, at least I'm trying, I do what I can. That's why I also created my other website, www.infoincontext.com, which gives you more information about what is actually going on and what can hopefully we do in order to fix that, because it starts with each one of us. Defeating propaganda is not a one-person deal. It's a team effort, okay? The only way that you can defeat an authoritarian is by not giving them power. An authoritarian is only as powerful as their followers, as their acolytes. So if they don't have acolytes, then they don't have the power. It's really that simple. So for the next episode, we're actually going to be talking a little bit part 2 of these Trump picks for cabinet and why they're so convenient to the Putin agenda. This episode was kind of like to give you a little bit of that groundwork, because I'm not trying to attack personalities. I'm trying to attack, the strategic reasoning of why it would be important for Russia to have these folks into those positions. Okay, that's what I need you to understand. That's why normally we have people who are highly qualified for a particular, whatever office that they're going to be fulfilling, especially a cabinet position. We need to have somebody that really has that experience, that they are not only encyclopedically savvy about whatever is it that they need to understand, because they have to understand everything that happens below them. And there's not just time for you that you're going to fucking learn even if you drink from a fire hose. You just don't have enough time to assimilate all that knowledge. So his choices need to be good for America, not loyalist. That is not good for America. That is definitely good for Russia, but it's definitely not good for America. And as I said, this is a very complex topic, and the mainstream media and a lot of the independent media, they are not talking about this, and it's fucking frustrating as shit. But understand that I am talking about the strategy. I'm talking about the merits of the issue. I don't really give a shit, who the person is. Okay, if they happen to mention their name, it's not that I care about who they are as the individual. I care about what qualifications they have and why is it that they don't seem to be correct for that position. And I'm going to be giving you examples about that. Okay. But everybody else, what they do, is just kind of like try to talk a little bit about that, and then just really it's like typical clickbait. So first I'll be talking about Trump's new Secretary of Defense and Secretary of the Navy picks, because that's going to be strategically important. And of course, the pick for the Director of National Intelligence, because that is not just a tactical and strategic danger to the USA, but is an existential threat. Even if they don't realize it, they're just not fucking qualified to do that. And that is something that definitely has to be said before it's fucking too late. Which the independent media, they kind of like try to do that. The mainstream media kind of do that, but they're just not fucking really answering the right question. The right question says, Mr. President, are you under duress from Russia? And fucking assess that question. If any adversary would be putting a puppet cabinet, it's like if this would be a satire, it wouldn't be as fucking crazy as the reality. It's really fucking insane. And if you're not concerned about that, then you, my friend, you're fucking naive as shit. You're naive as fuck if you don't actually understand why we should actually be concerned about this. Regardless of if you love this dude, if you love Trump, okay, good on you. Love him. Nice. It doesn't matter. Same thing that if your loved one, your spouse or your children or your cousin or your best friend, if they fuck up on something, you're going to maybe have a little bit of conflict and have that conversation. Yeah, you need to do something because nobody is perfect. Nobody's perfect. Yeah, so you need to understand, okay? No matter if you like or dislike somebody personally, there's a huge difference between a loyalist and a person who's actually qualified for a particular role, especially on these sensitive roles. Right now, we are in a very high geopolitical quagmire. And if you don't understand about that, okay, that's fine, okay? There's supposed to be people who do understand. And yes, there are people right now in place who are saving us from fucking us getting vaporized. But if you put now something that is not akin to what we need, okay, so you just put a loyalist instead of a subject matter expert, then yes, we become vulnerable. Okay, I don't know how many fucking ways I can actually tell you that. But the mere fact, that Trump is already considering these people that are not qualified, but they're definitely loyalists, and they have some really, some questionable parroting talking points that are very akin to what Russia is putting in the state-sponsored media. That should tell you something. That should be a wake-up call. Because that is not going to destroy America from the inside out on the world stage and bilateral agreements and all that shit, but it's also going to destroy us in the battlefield. So there is conflict. It is happening. You better fucking understand that shit. Is Trump on our side or is he on the side of Putin? And does he realize it or not? Okay. So not to mention that he makes it more than obvious that he just wants to put people in his orbit that they're a rubber stamp. Okay, so understand, none of the people that Trump has put into these roles have shown that they're willing to speak truth to power for the good of America. Okay, they drop themselves in an American flag and say USA, MAG, and blah, blah, blah over there. Okay, that is not the same thing if you're repeating Russian talking points. You can be fucking wrapping yourself in an American flag, imperating Russian talking points. You are not for the good of America, even if you don't realize it. So either, if they're going to end up in those positions, they need to fucking grow that goddamn introspection, or they have to understand that they are not supposed to be a rubber stamp. They are supposed to be able to understand what the role is, and understand also what those career professionals who spend their entire fucking lives or a lot of their adult life in a professional position to execute those roles the way that they're supposed to be doing. If they're just going to start eroding that, then we're just making Russia great again. And that's exactly what they want. And that's exactly what they're getting. All right, guys. We'll talk a little bit more tomorrow or in the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye.